Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a great 4th of July. This week, having Colleen talk about perspective has just, I think, added to our discussion on triggers last week. So it is perspective, and it is really how we look at situations, especially with, positive psychology in mind and that negativity bias. And I got a lot of great feedback on that trigger exercise that we talked about last week. So I thought I would just do a quick follow-up on that. Some of the conversations were very interesting in the feed. So I wanted to talk a little bit about when that trigger is reoccurring, and even if you do kind of have that trigger plan in place, and what happens when it's just nothing's changing, even if you're having powerful conversations. I know a couple people said some people, kind of trigger them on purpose, and really looking at what that thing is. Oh, hi, Ginger. That thing might be in your life, and creating kind of shutting some Ginger, shutting some doors and opening some new ones, and what that looks like. So if there's something that's triggering with you, I would really encourage you to, if nothing's working, even with a trigger plan, to really look at that situation or that relationship, and take a look at what that would look like if that thing wasn't there. So if you have something that's continually showing up negative in your life, it's probably zapping your energy and time. It's probably not making you feel that great. And if you're constantly being triggered by that thing, really looking, oh my gosh, now my dog is looking at that thing and saying, is this really worth my time and energy? And if it's creating a lot of negativity, what could I do with the time and energy in a different way? I don't know what Ginger's just scraping. What could I do with that time and energy that might be a little bit different? So thinking about that trigger situation, really looking at, okay, how much time and energy is this filling up? And if I just maybe broke off that friendship or that relationship that feels bad to me, what new space could I create? So a lot of time, if something negative happens, like friendships end because things aren't going well, we really get stuck on that loss. So I'm going to challenge you, if you have a trigger that keeps happening, really take a look at that relationship to see if it's something that you have control over, whether that person's in your life or not. And B, what happens with that space that you create when you take negative things and create boundaries for yourself. And how I know that's really hard, but if you could focus on the, hey, if I didn't have this thing in my life, what new thing could I have there, fill up that time and energy in a positive way, it can really help you move towards change. And it can really, even if that, I'm not going to have that negativity, so I'm going to feel like going and being engaged positively in some other areas of my life. It's really changing your perspective, A, on a loss that might be occurring, and B, on, if I've only got 24 hours in the day, how much of this day do I want to have negativity? And how much of this day do I really want to have positive people and positive things happen to me? And that's, you have control over who you spend your time with for the most part. I mean, sometimes family you don't, but even sometimes family you do. Like, you can, give yourself permission to just really have healthy people in your life. And that's a perspective change when you have permission to do what's really, and make a decision to have positivity in your life. You can really start to carve out space that feels like it's a much more positive thing in your life. So if you keep getting triggered by the same person, and you kind of feel like they know they're triggering with you and engaging, that trigger plan does not work with them, you can't seem to create really positive conversations around it, even if you're addressing it really intentionally and thoughtfully, it might be time to change that situation. So what can you do? What can get you motivated to make that change? And sometimes that's just, I would have time, positive energy, and what is some things I could do with that time and energy? And that might motivate you to make that change. So keep having a great weekend. I hope that's kind of helpful. It's kind of a next step, and I don't mean to kind of make that change seem too simple or not a big challenge. Like, people are our biggest challenges, but I do want to challenge you to say, I have a choice of the people that I allow into my life for the most part, and I can just let in the positive ones and create boundaries for the negative ones. So start thinking about that if you really get somebody that is just get spiked and that trigger in you. And I'm going to give you permission to say, not anymore. I don't need you in my life. So I hope this wasn't a negative one, because it's just such a positive weekend. But I also wanted to make sure that we kept going with the subject of perspective and triggers. So have a great holiday weekend.